Hello, it's Danielle Burnock from DanielleBurnock.com. Love Yourself from Survive to Thrive, that lady on the internet who loves you. And today I wanted to ask you, have you heard the line, to heal a wound, you've got to stop touching it? The first time I heard that, I thought, wow, that's really smart. But then I kept thinking about it. I'm like, that's not always true. I could see how it could be true sometimes because I thought about like when you have a scab, and if you keep picking it, it's never going to heal, or if it does, it will take a long time and it will leave a scar behind. So you should stop touching it so it can heal. But then I thought about, well, what if you broke a bone or something? Or if you get that cut, you need to do something with it. You can't just leave it alone. You have to do something to tend to it. You have to, if it's a cut, you have to put a Band-Aid on it, maybe put antiseptic on it. And if it's a broken bone, it needs to be reset and you need to put a cast on it. There's this whole process of healing that has to take place. You can't just stop touching it. You can't ignore it. And that's what people do with trauma. They ignore it. And they just shove it away, and then it never heals. But then I thought about that quote about stop touching it, and how could that apply to trauma? Well, a way that people don't heal their trauma but keep touching it is they ruminate on it. Ruminate means to sit and think about over and over and over. And if you just think about the bad things that happen to you and just dwell on them in your mind and in your heart, and then you plant bitterness in there and all kinds of other things in there, if that's all you're doing with it is ruminating on it and thinking about it and rehearsing it, that doesn't heal it. That would be like picking the scab on your arm, or not getting a cast on a broken bone, or getting it off too early and breaking it again. And that doesn't serve you. That doesn't heal you. And I love you and I want you to heal and I want you to be whole and I want you to thrive in life. So I want to encourage you to take proper care of your soul. When your soul is hurt, it needs to be addressed. It needs healing. And there's two things that your soul needs when your soul has a wound. And I discovered that those two things are in a quote of mine in my first book, Emerging with Wings, that I have right here, if you can see that. And that quote is, trauma is personal. It doesn't disappear if it's not validated. If it's ignored or invalidated, it continues. The silent screams continue, heard only by the one in there, stuck with that pain. And so there's two things that have to happen for that to come out, for that to heal. And one was for the validation that's in that quote. It talks about validating it. It needs to be validated. And I saw that that requires light. And I talk about the subtitle of my first book is Connecting to the Love That Heals. And the Bible tells us that God is love. And there's another thing that the Bible said God is. There's only two things that I know in the Bible that it says God is. You know, there's a lot of things it tells us about him, but there's only two things that it says that he is. And one is light, and the other is love. And in that quote, the validation is shining the light on the truth of what did happen, what happened in the experience, what happened in your soul, what happened. That light needs to shine the truth, and God loves you and wants that light, the truth, to come out. And then the second part of that quote is someone enters the pain and hears the screams, and then healing can begin. And what does that mean? That means that love entered in. Someone sat with you to hear your story. Someone listened to you. Someone entered that place in an intimate way, in a safe way, allowing you to validate that and to feel loved in that place where you feel so much pain and maybe even shame. But those things come with trauma, shame. Shame is not yours. Trauma makes you feel shame, but that shame doesn't belong to you. That's something that